As you enter the room, the delightful smell of freshly baked bread hits your nose. The aroma of melted cheese and tomato sauces and spices pull you in closer, like a moth to a flame. If your guess was pizza, then you're correct. And if it's not, then where have you been living? Under a rock? Pizza is one of the most popular foods known today, and has become dear to many of our hearts. But do you ever stop and wonder how this high food in demand came to be? My name is Elizabeth Cortez, and today we're going to explore the origins of pizza, and we'll be going through the creation, the development of the pizza, and how it stands today, how it is different. When people stop and think about pizza, like where the origins came from, we automatically think Italy. We associate pizza with being Italian food, which isn't true, but not entirely. In the article, The Slice of History, Pizza Through the Ages, written by Gail Turum and published by A&E Networks, it walks us through the birth of pizza. Turum explains that pizza originally came from the Middle East, from early Egyptians, Romans, and Greeks. This was a dish that they made. The pizza consisted of flat bread topped with herbs and oil, cooked in mud ovens. And that can be it's basically the equivalent to focaccia today that we have. And just like everything in the world, traditions spread, and pizza eventually made its way to Italy. It went specifically to the city of Naples in Italy. Naples was a really small little city where mostly impoverished people lived. There wasn't very rich people there. And that's why pizza was a perfect dish for them to eat. Because they didn't have much resources, and they were always on the go, constantly working. So they needed something that was cheap and fast for their lifestyle. And it was easy for them to make due to dough is a primary source of their diet all the time. They just created the dough, they made it, and it primarily consisted for them of cheese, tomatoes, garlic, and anchovies. So they just put all these toppings in, put it in the oven, and they were good to go. It became such a popular dish for them that they even had their own local street vendors selling these pizzas for them to just grab and take and feast on them. So now you might be asking yourself how this dish developed into such a popular meal amongst Italy, and not just Italy but across the globe, as well as in America today. In this website I found called Wanderopolis.org, it's ran by the National Center for Families Learning. It's a national nonprofit organization dedicated to helping adults and children learn together. There was an article about the question of the day, and it was about origin of pizza. Here I found that one of the primary creators, but isn't really the true creator, but credited creator, is Raffaele Esposito, who at the time was the local pizzeria maker there, and he was getting a visit by the Queen and King of Italy. The Queen, Margherita, that was her name, she wanted some dishes made. So Esposito made pizza for her. It was made out of mozzarella, basil, and tomatoes. She very loved this pizza, and it became one of her favorite meals. And he named the pizza after her, called Pizza Margherita, which is a known pizza today. And after that, she just spread the pizza around Italy, and that's how the expansion of that came to be. But it wasn't until after World War II, as Gail Turum explains, that pizza made its way to America. Many Italian immigrants and American soldiers were coming back. They were coming to America, and they were bringing along these recipes and these cravings for pizza. So naturally, they started up the first documented pizzeria in 1905 by Gennaro Lombardi. And the pizza was called Lombardi's after him, and it was located in New York City. And a cool fact about this place is that it still exists today, and it still opens and runs, and they actually have the same oven that they originally had. So after this, America grew a really big crave for pizza and demanded for more of it. So we fast forward to today, to the present day, and it has evolved drastically and become very popular. And New York Times writer, publisher, and editor Ed Levine, he talks about the change of pizza in today's world through an expert of his book that he made called Pizza, A Slice of Heaven. The first obvious observation that Levine made is the fact that pizza isn't primarily a flatbread anymore. We have so many forms and shapes of pizza. It can be fat and big, and how pizza is. Um, Today, it's also that pizza used to be a type of dish where you could sit down with your family, mostly homemade, and now it is primarily a chain fast food kind of food. We no longer sit for long discussions of meals, which you probably could. Some families do, but you get the gist of it. Today, the small numbers of family pizzerias has really decreased, and our culture has become accustomed to big popular chain places like Round Table, Pizza Hut, and Domino's. So that is a big change from how pizza first started out to today. It's honestly really crazy to see how far we have began from now. And yeah, so now that we've made it here, it's clear to see that pizza has made a long journey into our hearts and stomachs. From the beginning ancient Roman times to now having local Little Caesar stores where you can buy a pizza for $5 in less than 5 minutes. So I hope that you all learned something about how one of America's favorite dishes came to be, and that you all leave with a little knowledge that you didn't know before. Thank you.